On June 12, 2025, a day that began like any other, Air India Flight 171 took off, carrying the hopes and plans of 242 people. The flight was on a routine domestic route, filled with families, business travelers, and students. The hum of the engines was a familiar sound, a promise of a safe arrival in Ahmedabad. For those on board, the journey was just a small part of a much larger story. A trip to visit relatives, a return home from a work meeting, or the start of a long-awaited vacation. Each passenger carried with them a world of connections, dreams, and responsibilities, all contained within the metal shell of the aircraft as it soared through the sky. The routine flight turned into a national tragedy in a matter of moments. Instead of landing safely at the airport, the plane crashed into the Meghaninagar neighborhood of Ahmedabad. The impact was devastating, sending shockwaves of disbelief and horror through the community on the ground and across the entire country. The ordinary day was shattered by an extraordinary event, one that would be marked by immense loss and sorrow. The news spread quickly, transforming the flight number AI-171 into a symbol of a disaster that no one saw coming, leaving a permanent scar on the nation's memory. The outcome of the crash was almost absolute in its cruelty. Of the 242 souls who had boarded the plane, only one person survived. This single survivor became a fragile symbol of hope amidst an overwhelming sea of loss, but the number of fatalities, 241 people, was staggering. Each number represented a life cut short, a family torn apart, and a future that would never be realized. The sheer scale of the casualty count made it one of India's most devastating aviation incidents in recent history, a grim statistic that failed to capture the depth of the human pain behind it. For the families waiting at the arrival gate, the initial confusion and delays soon gave way to a dawning, unbearable reality. The minutes of uncertainty stretched into an eternity of anguish as official reports confirmed their worst fears. Their world was irrevocably altered without warning. The stories of those who were lost began to emerge. A young couple on their honeymoon, a father returning to his children, a group of friends on an adventure. These personal stories painted a heartbreaking picture of the collective loss, reminding everyone that this was not just a news headline, but a profound human tragedy that affected countless lives. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, the most urgent question on everyone's mind was, what happened? Investigators from India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGCA, arrived at the scene to begin the painstaking process of finding answers. Their job is a difficult one, requiring them to sift through the wreckage, recover the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, the so-called black boxes, and piece together the final moments of Flight 171. This investigation is not just a technical procedure, it is a crucial mission to provide clarity for the grieving families and to prevent a similar tragedy from ever happening again. While the official investigation is still ongoing, public discussion has been filled with speculation and concern. Many people have started to voice fears about the condition of the aircraft itself. Allegations have surfaced, spreading quickly through news reports and social media, suggesting that the plane may have had pre-existing mechanical issues or was not properly maintained. These public theories point towards a potential failure in safety protocols, raising difficult questions for the airline and aviation authorities. The public is demanding transparency, worried that lapses in maintenance or oversight could have played a role in this terrible event. These concerns highlight a broader anxiety about aviation safety. An airplane is a complex machine, and its safety depends on a long chain of people and procedures, from manufacturing and design to daily maintenance and pre-flight checks. A failure at any point in this chain can have catastrophic consequences. The public's fear is rooted in the understanding that their safety is in the hands of others. The possibility that the crash of Flight 171 could have been prevented due to better maintenance or stricter safety checks is a deeply unsettling thought for anyone who flies. Until the official investigation concludes, these theories will continue to circulate, fueled by a deep need for understanding and accountability. The final report will hopefully provide definitive answers, but But the questions raised by the public are important. They reflect a fundamental demand for safety and trust in the systems that are supposed to protect us. For now, the families of the victims and the nation as a whole wait for the truth, hoping that it will bring some measure of closure and lead to meaningful changes that will make the skies safer for everyone in the future. The crash of Air India Flight 171 did more than just cause immense grief. It also triggered a powerful wave of fear across the country. For many people, the tragedy reignited a dormant fear of flying, a condition known as aviophobia. This anxiety is not just felt by nervous flyers. Even seasoned travelers found themselves feeling a new sense of unease. The vivid images of the crash site and the heart-wrenching stories of the victims created a strong emotional response, making the abstract risk of flying feel suddenly very real and personal. This collective anxiety was amplified by the constant flow of information and discussion on social media platforms. This psychological impact is something experts call vicarious trauma. Dr. Vishnu Gade, a consultant psychiatrist, explained that people who are not directly involved in the crash can still experience a deep sense of trauma and anxiety just by being exposed to the details of the event. Hearing about the tragedy repeatedly can make people feel as if it happened to them or someone they know, leading to heightened stress, sleepless nights, and even panic attacks. The event served as a stark reminder of life's fragility, and for many, the sky no longer felt like a friendly place. This widespread fear has had a noticeable effect on people's travel habits. In the weeks following the crash, there has been a significant increase in travelers actively avoiding Air India. Some people have cancelled their tickets, even if it meant losing money, and have started searching online for the safest airlines 2025 before booking new flights. This shift in behavior is a direct response to the safety concerns raised by the crash. The incident has also been compounded by a series of unrelated technical snags and bomb threats on other flights, which have kept aviation safety in the headlines and further fueled public anxiety. The emotional fallout from the crash has been compared to other major tragic events that have shaken India in 2025, such as a terrorist attack in Baisaran Valley, Kashmir. While the causes are different, the emotional response is similar, a feeling of vulnerability and a loss of a sense of security. These events remind us that life can change in an instant, and they force us to confront our deepest fears. The crash of Flight 171 has left a lasting psychological mark on the nation, changing not only how people feel about flying, but also how they view their own safety in the world. It is essential that we remember tragedies like the crash of Air India Flight 171, not to dwell on the sorrow, but to honor the lives that were lost. Remembering means keeping the stories of the 241 passengers and crew members alive. They were individuals with families, friends, and futures, and their memory deserves to be treated with respect and dignity. By remembering them, we acknowledge the profound human cost of the disaster and ensure that they are not reduced to a mere statistic. This act of remembrance provides a small measure of comfort to the families who must navigate a world that has been forever changed by their absence. Remembering is also a critical part of the healing process for the entire community. Tragedies of this magnitude can leave deep emotional wounds on a society, creating a shared sense of grief and fear. Coming together to remember and mourn allows people to support one another and process the collective trauma. It creates a space for shared humanity, where people can find strength in unity and acknowledge the pain that such events cause. By facing the tragedy together, a nation can begin to heal and reaffirm its resilience in the face of immense adversity and loss. Furthermore, remembering these events is crucial for driving real-world change and improving safety for the future. The questions and concerns raised by the public in the wake of the crash must not be forgotten. They must fuel a persistent demand for accountability and transparency from airlines and regulatory bodies. The lessons learned from the investigation must lead to concrete improvements in maintenance protocols, safety checks, and oversight. Forgetting would mean risking that the same mistakes could be made again. The memory of Flight 171 must serve as a permanent catalyst for ensuring that aviation safety remains the highest priority. Ultimately, remembering the crash of Air India Flight 171 is an act of responsibility. It is our responsibility to the victims, to their families, and to all future families. We must support those who are grieving, demand answers that lead to a safer world, and never forget the human stories behind them. Tragedies have the power to teach us invaluable lessons about safety, compassion, and the importance of community. By carrying the memory of Flight 171 forward, we commit to honoring the past and building a safer, more caring future for everyone.